Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive on my solo production setup. Today I am showing you how to run a multi-camera recording completely alone. Then I will show you the secret sauce for turning raw footage into shareable clips fast. This is the exact workflow I use for my podcast room setup. It covers solo episodes, interviews, and everything in between smoothly. The entire system is designed so you need no extra camera operator or editor. So, let's start with the physical gear on the ground. I run a stable configuration of 3 dedicated cameras for every session. One camera stays locked onto a tight personal shot of the host. The second camera captures a wide view of the whole table setup. The third camera is specifically framed and focused on the guest area. A key detail is that all 3 cameras are modern PTZ units. If you follow my channel, you already know I love PTZ technology for solo work. They are amazing for single operators because framing is set beforehand. You control the pan, tilt, and zoom remotely, and then can ignore them. Here's a vital tip for your initial camera setup. Always adjust your framing while you are sitting in your actual host seat. Constantly getting up and down to check angles will ruin your recording flow. By setting everything from the host position, you get it right the first time easily. All 3 cameras are connected to a local Ethernet network for communication. This network talks to the cameras and the remote controller setup. Crucially, I always keep this local network completely isolated from the internet. There is no need for external internet access to move local video signals. This isolation successfully reduces unexpected networking issues while recording. Now for the 2 pieces of hardware that truly tie this entire workflow together. The 2 pieces are my video switcher and my dedicated audio console. For switching video sources, I utilize the ATEM Mini Pro model with ISO capability. That ISO function is the main secret ingredient in this whole process. It records the final program feed while simultaneously logging every input independently. This allows me to concentrate fully on hosting instead of live switching perfectly. I press record, host the entire show, and the ATEM saves everything. The result is one main program file plus separate RAW files for each camera. The switcher handles the recording to a USB-C drive automatically. It even formats the drive and organizes all the resulting files neatly for you. So why is that isolated recording capability so incredibly important? Consider if one camera failed during a live switch while it was on your main feed. Without that ISO recording, that entire segment would be completely lost to you. With ISO recording, you always have the native, untouched file from every camera as a fallback. You also gain the flexibility to sync audio perfectly later for a full edit. It costs a bit more than non-ISO switchers, but the safety net is worth it. This flexibility is a must-have for solo operators producing polished content. Moving over to the audio side, I use a modern all-in-one podcast-style console. This board accepts multiple XLR microphones, USB inputs, and even Bluetooth sources. It also provides dedicated independent headphone outputs for every single person. For instance, I have 3 mics connected and 4 separate headphone mixes available. This ensures everyone in the room has a personalized monitoring experience during the session. The console also records everything onto a micro SD card in multitrack mode. Every single microphone input is saved onto its own dedicated audio track. That multi-track recording feature is a genuine game changer for post-production work. You can fix levels, apply EQ, or reduce noise on a per-person basis later. This is much better than being stuck with a single baked-in mixed track. I still have one major gripe about this whole device setup. Why do manufacturers insist on micro SD cards instead of standard full-size SD slots? I honestly do not know the reason behind that design choice. However, the crucial thing is that the multi-track ISO audio recording works perfectly. This means you get individual WAV files for every mic input recorded. I feed the console's final master mix output into the ATEM switcher as a backup. This provides audio redundancy in case the console's internal recording fails somehow. Seriously, folks, build in this level of redundancy everywhere you can. Okay, so we now have isolated camera files, a program file, and multi-track audio. The next step is traditionally the most time-consuming: manual editing. This involves importing every track, syncing them up, and cutting between angles. You spend hours finding those key moments, grading, and prepping short clips. That tedious process is precisely where most creators end up getting completely bogged down. This editing bottleneck kills the momentum needed for consistent daily posting. This is where intelligent software like Vizard makes the flow practical for one person. After recording, I simply point the software at the folder with all the ISO files. The AI automatically analyzes the entire long recording instantly. It finds high-energy moments, detects speaker changes, and spots for reaction highlights. Then it generates a whole batch of ready-to-post clips automatically. The AI specifically looks for strong sound bites and clear speaker turns. It creates short vertical or square clips perfectly formatted for social platforms. These clips even come with auto-generated captions and suggested thumbnails included. The best part is you bypass those hours spent manually refining the edit. The auto-editing feature cuts the long file into multiple usable potential clips. You just preview them, make minor text tweaks, and approve what you want to publish. This is the difference between posting weekly and posting fresh content daily. Vizard also handles the entire scheduling process for you automatically. Instead of manual uploads, you tell the system your desired publishing frequency. The AI intelligently queues the approved clips across your chosen platforms. You set the cadence, and the system does all the heavy lifting of managing the pipeline. This eliminates fiddling with metadata or manually queuing on separate apps every time. Plus, there is a unified content calendar, so you see everything in one place. You can see what is queued, what is published, and what is scheduled next. You can pin sponsorship clips to specific dates or rearrange the entire queue easily. For creators juggling multiple series, a single calendar is a massive quality of life improvement. Now, to be fair, other tools promise automated clip creation too. Some need you to upload a full transcript first, which is an extra step. Others only search based on simple keyword matching, missing nuance. And some of those systems will definitely cost you an arm and a leg. The common limitation is automation that is too blunt for nuanced moments. Alternatively, the output requires so much manual cleanup that you lose the time savings. What I appreciate about Vizard is that perfect balance it achieves. The AI finds smart moments, but always lets you retain the final editorial say. It's fast enough to save you hours, yet flexible enough to maintain your quality. Back to the workflow. I copy all files from the drives to a fast external SSD. Then I point the software to that central folder containing everything captured. It then takes over and handles virtually all of the heavy processing. If I work on the long-form edit, I still have all my ISO tracks in my main NLE. But Vizard gives me snackable clips to promote, while the main edit is still being finished. Because the audio is isolated, Vizard can use per-person track size to label speakers. This helps create specific highlights like host reaction or guest insight. If a guest is quiet, I can boost their isolated track in the DAW or switch the source. The entire workflow remains completely flexible regardless of minor audio issues. And yes, you can absolutely run this entire setup live for streaming. The ATEM handles the live switching, and the console sends clean audio to the stream. But even when streaming live, I still ensure the local ISO recording is always on. When the stream ends, I feed those local files into Vizard to create shareable clips. This turns the entire live session into content that grows the channel automatically. You get live engagement and post-stream content creation without doubling your effort. A couple of practical reminders before we wrap up this technical overview. Monitor the recording time on your switcher so you always know how long you have been rolling. Keep everyone wearing headphones so they can constantly monitor their own input levels. Test mic placement and frames using real conversational speech, not just small talk. This ensures your final adjustments are based on how people actually speak in the moment. Final thought, this whole stack lets one creator output multi-angle, high-quality content. The hardware handles capture and safety. Vizard handles distribution and scheduling. This setup frees you up to focus purely on the creative element, being a great host. If you want to try this flow, I'll link all the gear and Vizard in the description. Those links help support the channel, but the core idea is capturing clean, separate sources. Never try to be a live editor, and always use smart software to scale your clip output. This is what allows small creators to truly punch above their weight online. That concludes the walkthrough, and I sincerely hope you found these insights useful. If you have questions about cameras, audio routing, or clip structuring, ask in the comments. I will definitely walk through specific setups in response to your inquiries. Please like and subscribe if you want more detailed technical breakdowns, just like this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next technical breakdown. Have a great day!